All right, so we're about to do our game for game lists, and are you ready to update your game for game lists?
Yep.
All right, so the way I'm going to do this is let's first take a look at where we are with our game for game lists. So, so I'm going to remove the things that we need to replace in a second, but so I'm at Diablo 2 Resurrected as my number one right now. Path of Exile 2 right now is my number two. Disco Elysium was my number three, and this one is going to have to be replaced. It was released on March 30th, so I'm going to get rid of that right now. And 12 Minutes was my number four. Mass Effect Legendary Edition was my number five. Alaloth Champions of the Four Kingdoms was my number six. Psychonauts 2 was my number seven. Skull and Bones was my number eight. And Evil Genius 2 World Domination was my number nine, and that came out, so we're going to have to make changes here. And then Take It Takes Two was March 26th, and I'm going to have to replace that slot as well. Now let's go to Louis' list. So you want to go down the list for you?
Yep. Got I still got Monster Hunter Stories 2. Reigns of the Ruin is still my number one, coming in July. New Pokemon Snap, which coming soon, is coming out at the end of the month. And then Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I am still looking forward to this game, even though I don't have a PS5. No More Heroes 3 for Switch. It's still my most anticipated, but I still have to go with Monster Hunter Stories 2 since I know what to expect for No More Heroes 3. So that's
Yeah.
why it's not number one. And then I still have Mario Golf, which I'm really looking forward to, coming out in June. And then the Famicom Detective Club hitting in May, which is the same day as the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Yeah.
So that's
Which
fun.
one are you going to play first? You're going to have to decide.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, because
Well, you
the
still have
Famicom
time.
is, yeah, it's a digital, and I just feel that honestly, I think Legendary, because I feel that Legendary Edition, it'll drop in price if I just wait a while. So, yeah, definitely Famicom over Mass Effect, since I know Mass Effect, it'll
Yeah.
drop in price. Or
Yeah.
depending how much, is it going to be $60 or is it going to be 40? Probably be 60. It's EA. So, Halo
Yeah.
Infinite is still confirmed for the fall, and I may probably be I download the Master Chief Collection on PC and it runs really well, so I might just get Infinite via Game Pass on PC.
Uh,
Skyward Sword, still looking. It'll be interesting to see how that game plays since I can no longer have to rely on motion controls. Thank goodness.
yeah.
But as we learned, Gotham Knights, however, that
Yep.
got pushed back to next year. So,
Yep. We're going to have to replace this one.
so basically,
All
I
right.
was look.
So, yeah. So the way we're going to do this, since I have three replacements and you have one, I'm going to give you my first replacement. And uh, now I want to sort of restate the configuration here. You can replace any game that's on the list, and you can move it around anywhere you want. So, if, for example, uh, whatever slot, whatever the next game that's going to go on your list, Louis, you can move it to any slot on your list. If you want to move it up or down, it's up to you. And so for me, I am actually for me my three next choices are actually going to be at the bottom three of my lists, unfortunately, because I haven't seen anything that makes me really want to push it above any of these. So, at least right now, I'm just going to renumber my lists and have those last three slots go like that. So, this is what my list is going to look like. And so, my next addition to my list, it's a game that I kind of overlooked. It was announced last year, I believe, or maybe, yeah, I think it was announced last year, and it is another remastered game. It is also a game that I never played on PlayStation 2. It's a remaster. Do you have any idea what it might be?
No idea. And it's PS2, so it's got to be something huge.
It's a series that I first dipped my feet in on the 3DS. But this is supposed to be a classic game, and it's a game that I don't know if I will get to it right away, but it'll certainly be on my list to get at some to play at some point. And that game is Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. And that comes out May 25th. So this is so when I I saw the trailer, and it's interesting because I kind of forgot this game was out there, and then I got a PR email showing the game, and I was like, oh snap, how did I forget this game? Like, I feel like I would have remembered this game, but then I was like, didn't I always remember this game was coming out? And it's like, oh yeah, that was the Switch Shin Megami that I remembered, and this is the one that I forgot that it was coming out. So, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. It's supposed to be a really great game from people who have played it. Have you ever played that one?
I'm in the same boat as you. I've never played the franchise, but I've heard nothing but praise.
Yeah, and I have like when I played 3D the 3DS version of I played Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor Overclocked, the Overclocked Devil Survivor. I really love the whole like monster catching and cross pollinating the monsters and mixing the monsters and stuff like that. And I also got Shin Megami Tensei 4. Is that it, the number? The one that was on the 3DS, and that I didn't like it quite as much as Devil Survivor, but I am looking forward to this one because if people say it's great, then who follow the series, then I'm gonna trust them, and I'm looking forward to playing it at some point. So yeah, that's my number 8 pick now on my list. All right, Louis, now you're up. What is your addition to your list? I think I
The
have a
addition,
hunch of what it is, but
actually, after looking through what's coming out soon, I completely forgot about this game. But so basically, for my number 10, it's actually going to be Guilty Gear Strive coming out June 11th.
Guilty Gear, spell it.
Strive.
June 11th.
Yep.
So why is this game on your list?
Basically, because it's done by the same team Well, the Guilty Gear franchise in general, it's one of the last well-known fighting games that still uses 2D pixels, but 2D HD pixels. And I first started playing their games on the on the PS3 when I downloaded their game from the PS3 store that'll be no longer available soon. But but ever since then, I basically I played the one on PS3. I got one on the Xbox 360, and I completely forgot about that franchise until the team that made it made Dragon Ball Fighter Z,
uh-huh.
and then that was a really good game. That was awesome. So to see that the people who made that are coming back to what they know best, the Guilty Gear franchise, is pretty interesting to see because just recently they announced a new character, but the fact it's coming out in June, it's like, oh, okay, here's because I gotta have at least one fighting game on my list. But then when I saw, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. The fighting genre is uh, it's kind of niche at the moment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's one thing I have noticed on my list. Like, wait, where's a fighting game? I mean, I'm not gonna say, ooh, new character for Smash. That's too obvious.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
even
this
in
is yeah, I was gonna say I did not have this one in mind. Totally blindsided me. I thought you were gonna go with a different game, but I'm not gonna say which one I thought you were gonna go with. But yeah, Guilty Gear is actually a franchise that I've never played myself, and I'm a fighting game player. So how would you what is like the is it closer to Street Fighter or closer to like Tekken?
it's hard to say. It's kind of its own thing. I mean, it's more well. Let's see, Street Fighter. I would say it's more combo based, and it's for if someone gets into it for the very first time, you can do pretty well, but the learning curve is, I would say, pretty close to high. But I
Right.
did notice in when they did Dragon Ball Fighter Z, since that's more of a mainstream name, in that fighting series, the learning curve was more normal. It wasn't too steep as Guilty Gear. So I
Uh,
would say, I would say for most people, I would get the Dragon Ball Fighter Z because at least that one, because it's a more mainstream name, the combos and the special moves are much easier to pull off versus Guilty Gear.
uh,
Because with Guilty Gear, you do have to do the quarter circle, the down fours, the rotates.
so it's a
So
higher skill cap, is what you're saying.
exactly.
And are you good? Are you good?
I'm better when I played it on the 360 versus the PS3. I was better on PS3 because of the PS3 D-pad. So then for the Xbox 360, I actually had to buy like a Street fighter pad because their D-pad is way better than the default 360 D-pad. But I'm decently good, but not like esports good, but good.
Uh, yeah. Thing with me is I don't like I'm still sort of at that point where like I don't know if I like as far as games on release, I don't know if I would ever buy a fighting game on release. Maybe Smash Brothers may be the exception because it's a different kind of game. But as far as like the like one-on-one 2D kind of like the Street Fighters, even Mortal Kombat. I don't know if I would ever buy a Mortal Kombat game on release. Because,
Oh, I did.
primarily because I'm always like afraid of like DLC characters and Game of the Year editions and all that stuff. So arcade editions.
Which is funny because, yeah, for let me just get this here. Yeah, So for Black Friday, I did get the basically the Game of the Year edition of MK11.
Oh, nice, nice.
So it does pay to wait. But usually with these games, like usually with the Guilty Gear games, they tend to put everything on their day and date. But then again, this is a different generation of gaming because I know their previous Guilty Gear games, all the characters were there. I think there was one DLC character and that was it.
Oh, yeah, it's I might have to try it out at some point, a Guilty Gear game, because I see it's on Steam, and I'm sure there are other versions available.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
actually, I I downloaded the one on the original Xbox, but haven't played it.
is there a version of Guilty Gear that you like the most?
I actually like them all. Actually, it's funny that you brought that up because I just realized I have it on the Switch as well. Because I think they had a sale, and I think I downloaded two Guilty Gear games. Man,
So
but I
like
really don't.
they have Revelator, Sign, Accent Core, Rev 2, Upgrade. Oh, so Guilty Gear, Zerd, Sign, Guilty Gear Zerd Revelator, Guilty Gear 20 Accent Core.
They have so
Uh,
many.
yeah, yeah. So, any case,
Oh
Guilty
yeah, I got
Gear
my.
Strive.
Oh yeah, I
Interesting
just got my.
pick.
Thanks. I'm actually looking at which Guilty Gear I have on here.
Uh,
Oh, it's not Guilty Gear. It's Blade. Oh wait, here it is. Yeah, Guilty Gear Accent Core plus R. Yellow fighting game I have on here is Blaze Blue.
uh. So,
Okay, so
Accent Core plus R
yep,
came out in 2015. Is that a good one?
yeah, that's
Oh,
a
it's
really
got
good one.
overwhelmingly positive ratings on Steam. So I might have to check that one out.
Yeah, because I got it when it was on sale. They had it on sale for I think $5.
Uh-huh. And they all sort of play the same.
Exactly. Like you've
Yeah.
played one Guilty Gear, you've played them all.
All right. So I'll have to check them out at some point. All right, let's move it along to my number 9 choice. Now, my next game is going to surprise you, Louie. Going to surprise you because after we did our show, our last show, many release dates were announced, and a release date was announced for one of your games, and it was also announced that it was going to be coming to PC. So my number 9 choice is actually Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin,
Oh
which is coming
wow.
to PC. And I decided, wow, this game looks interesting. It's definitely, a different take of the Monster Hunter series that I feel I could get into, and I was genuinely surprised when I saw it was coming to PC, although not quite as surprised because all the Monster Hunter games are already on PC, the newer ones, but uh, to see that's coming to Steam on release is interesting. So, July 9th, 2021. So, your number 1 is my number 9. So what do you think about that?
I was thinking about wait, which one was it? I thought it was gonna be Octopath Traveler because wasn't but that's been out on PC for a while though, hasn't it?
Yeah, that was released last year on
Yeah, it was. Oh
PC.
yeah, it was available on Game Pass. That was the big thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to think. Wait, what could it be? What could it be? Oh, okay. Because yeah, they did announce that this was coming to Switch and PC, but I just figured, oh, I mean, that does surprise me.
All right. And my number 10 choice. Any guesses about my number 10? I don't think you'll get it, but it's another remaster game that I had no idea was coming. It seemed like it was sort of stealth announced within the past month.
In the past, no idea if it's within the past month.
It's from a major franchise of certain kinds of games. It was originally released in the early 2000s for PC. And
Wait,
it's
you have it on World of Warcraft?
Nope, it's a war game, but it's not World of Warcraft. It's an ancient war game. It is
Civilization?
Nope. You're on the right track though. Sort of. It is Total War Rome Remastered. Coming out April 29th, 2021. Yeah, this is a game that I bought for PC a long time ago, and a game that I was really bad at, I should say. Probably didn't have the patience to learn when I first got it, but I really liked the battle aspect of Total War Rome, and I could never really get myself to want to try any of the other Total War games like Total War Medieval or all these other various versions. For me, the Rome version is the most interesting version, and they also have like strategy aspects in the game that I find a little bit kind of interesting, and where you have to like flank your opponents and create battle armies up hills, and you really have to pay attention to the formation of armies, and seems like an interesting game. The reason why it is low, why I didn't put it as my number 9, is that the remaster doesn't look as great as I would have expected for a remaster. It looks good, but I expected it to be maybe a little sharper, a little better. But they did remaster the cinematics, which is kind of interesting. But the actual game doesn't seem all that doesn't look a ton different, and that's why I had to mark it down. It's not the Mass Effect remaster. So, and I was gonna say one more thing. What was I gonna say? Total War remastered. Yeah. So I forgot what I was gonna say, but Total War remastered. I don't know if I'll get to it right away, but it's like one of those games that's like, all right, I'll play it eventually. You know, I could see myself playing this game at some point, and it's a game that I always enjoyed playing when I did, but it is not easy and it requires some level of concentration. So, any other changes that you want to make to your list, or are you fine with the order of your list?
I'm actually good with the order.
All right, so my list is locked in at pretty much everything pushed up. Then I added Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster, I added Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, and Total War Rome Remastered. And you added Guilty Gear Strive. So that wraps it up for the April 2021 Game for Game lists. And we may not, you may not have any changes next month unless you
Oh,
feel like making a
well,
change.
well, there's already going to be change because Pokemon comes out the end of the month.
Oh, right, right. Pokemon Snap. Yeah. Is that a day one buy for you?
Oh yeah, because Nintendo doesn't do sales on their games.
So maybe we can get some footage of that.
Oh, I'm cool with the footage, but you know how people are when it comes to up. I mean, I have no problem uploading Nintendo footage, but other people shaking their boots.
Well, we can get away with it. I think we can be fine with it. As far we can play it on the game for on the next show is what I mean. So and talk about it. But yeah, and our next show probably won't will probably be not too long after it's released.
Let's see,
So
when is the 30th of April? I guess that's on a
it
Friday.
yep. Nintendo loves its Friday release dates these days.
And they used to do them on Sundays. But then, which is a funny story, because yeah, they used to release their games on a Sunday. But then when Star Fox for the 3DS was coming out, they realized, oh snap, Sunday is September 11th. We don't want to do
Oh,
that. So they pushed it to Friday, and ever since then, their games are released on Fridays now.
interesting. So yeah, you will have a new game to add next one. That I think I know what it is, but I'm not positive. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. And for me, I will have one game, maybe two games. If Alaloth Champions of Four Kingdoms comes out in April, that might be one of them. But um, oh yeah, also I might have to replace Path of Exile 2 next time as well. On Thursday, Path of Exile is doing they're announcing their new league, and they're also announcing Path of Exile 2 news. So I'm on that, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be. I'm really hoping it comes out this year, but I feel like my heart wants it this year, but my head thinks it's gonna get pushed back. So, all right, so that does it for our Game for Game segment of April 2021.